What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. I am your host, the real Jussy of the Distorted Theorists, and today, finally, after Dhurandhar trailer reaction blew up our channel, it is now the second most viewed video we have. You know, because it's on Netflix, I had to go and watch it and see, as a foreigner, what this movie and what the hype was all about. But before I get into today's review, as always, if you want to support the channel, we do appreciate it for all of our international viewers to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, so that I can continue to learn about some Indian cinema, the big blockbusters, and of course, watch something that normally I probably wouldn't see here locally in North America. But before I get into my review, I also want to make a few statements just to make sure that anyone watching understands where me, as a foreigner watching this film, is coming from. First of all, of course, I watched it in its natural language. I only speak English. I did watch it with the subtitles. So I will apologize if there are some names or some characters or some actors that I'm not completely familiar with or I may mispronounce in my review. I will try my best, certainly, but of course there's also places and names that, I just might not be able to say correctly, and I do apologize, but I will try my best, and I do have my computer set up in front of me to make sure that I can get some of the names accurate when I need to speak about them. The other thing is, I realize this is a work of fiction film. However, I also know the political side of things, that it does dabble in some real world events mixed with the fiction. So I'm going to review this as my interpretation as a foreigner, as I said. If I do misspeak, or I get something wrong, or I say something incorrectly, or I reference something in the wrong way, please do not take offense. By all means, go in the comment section, correct me, let me know if I said something wrong, let me know if there's something I missed. We are always open for discussion. Let's keep it clean, and I would love to chat with everyone down in our comment section. And also, make sure, if you approve of this, you hit that super thanks to, again, financially support our channel, because we do appreciate it. And with that said, let's get into my Dhurandhar film review right now. Okay, like I said in my opening segment, I watched this film. Not only did the review of the trailer we did, the reaction, blew up our channel, but you guys commented heavy saying when this film came out, I had to watch it. And we make good on our promises, so I did just that. Now, Dhurandhar did not play in cinemas here in Canada where we live, so I did have to wait until it came to Netflix, which happened just a few weeks ago, if I'm not mistaken. But I finally got it watched. And boy, am I excited I did. It was over 3 hours long. That's like Avengers Endgame type stuff. You know what I'm saying? From the trailer, I want to review this and talk about this film in segments, if I will. The first one I want to touch on, because the trailer made it very clear, is the brutality. Okay? There are many scenes in this film that I literally was like jaw dropped. Okay. Right off the hop, this film starts with a bunch of terrorists, which I believe, again, if I misspeak, let me know, I think is Pakistani terrorism of some sort, against India. They have passengers on a plane, and right away, when the agent, he's a political figure or a CIA or a police officer or whatever, he enters the plane, he flashes back because he sees the blood, and they have a knife to the guy's throat. I was like, I mean, you don't see that very often in North American cinema. And then, of course, we see stuff, the torture scenes, not great. There was one guy with about 1,000 hooks in his face, in his legs, in his body. You guys told me in the comments that really happened. The main antagonist there who was doing that, I again, I apologize, I forget his name in the film. But he's still alive now at the end, so I assume, because we know Dhurandhar Part 2, the revenge is coming, and he was hitting the punching bag at the end, and he looks mad that Hamza is still alive. I assume he's going to be the main bad guy of the second part, but he was torturing that poor man on the table, pulling on the hooks, but he would not give up his information, and I will talk about that a little later. Then, of course, we had a part where I can't even remember where it was, but the dude had the shotgun and just blew. I think it was Sanjay Dutt's character out in the desert, pulled the shotgun, if I'm not mistaken. Boom, maybe. I might be wrong there. But anyway, his head just exploded. I was like, what the And then, of course, we do have some scenes there where made me feel a little gross because it was more based on what I'm understanding as real world terrorism, like the Mumbai attacks and stuff like that. But there was a gentleman, he had a Pakistani man, terrorist, he had like a bomb strapped to him, and he pushed the button at the beginning when they were attacking that political assembly, that house, that building. And like, in this film, they show someone blowing up. I mean, yeah, special effects, but it looked real. There was body parts going everywhere. So if I had not watched the trailer and you folks had not told me what to expect going into this, I would have been a little vomity, okay? But I made my way through it because it was really cool. Of course, there was some hand-to-hand combat, some fist fights, some gunplay. Wasn't too bad, but there was some smashing the head of rocks. The character, and this is where I need a little bit of help, Raman Dakal, the main Bolak gang leader, he found that gun, he smashed him with the rock after they ran into his vehicle, and he shot out. That was crazy. Listen, whoever made this film, I gotta say something. I've seen a few trailers from you guys who've recommended stuff. Some of the films, the action can be a little embellished, outlandish even, where, you know, one guy is picking up two people above his head. That is what I expected, but this film was very grounded. Like the action sequences were real. There was nothing that was too unrealistic that took me out of the film and made me go like, this is not believable. This seemed like it was based in a real world events, okay? The next thing I want to touch on is this movie had so much heart that I wasn't prepared for. And what I mean by that, from what I gather from watching the film, this is about the country of India being terrorized by Pakistan in some capacity due to terrorism. And of course, they send in what I call here a sleeper cell. They send in Hamza from prison, which we find out in the end, to basically infiltrate the Pakistan gang lords so that they can find out how are these terrorists getting the one up on India, how are they getting their weapons, etc., etc. But you also have a lot of other Indians being tortured, like I just said in the first segment, but they will not give up the information. Like, there's a lot of torture in this film, which again, it's hard to get through, especially if any of this happened in real life. I don't know. But not once did any of the Indian people give up their secrets, give up their country. They held true, even though they were being, you know, bones broken, flesh being ripped, death. I mean, there was women, children, everything being killed. They stayed silent because they knew, as they said in the film, even though a wounded lion will not die, I'm paraphrasing, a wounded lion will not die, it just makes him more lethal. And I thought that was really cool because I was expecting this to just be very action heavy, which it was. In a lot of ways, but Hamza especially played it very cool. I mean, we learned through the film that we know he's infiltrating for India. He's Dhurandhar. He's the specialist. He's the covert. He goes in. He got to make friends with these gang members, but he's always so chill. And you know, you see the passion in his eyes when he sees his people of India being tortured, his brothers, his sisters, his country just being tore down. You can see it in his eyes in every scene. Ranveer Singh, great actor, portrays that hope is being lost, but he keeps having to tell himself that we will prevail. We have to lie in wait. We cannot act on our emotions or India will fail. And they do reiterate that in the film as well. But just to have that drive, that instinct, that natural, I guess, that natural feeling of home, that he had to protect everyone. The weight of India's world was on his shoulders, so he felt. And he had to play it cool until the time was right to strike. And of course, when he took down Raman Dakal, that was a cool scene at the end where he hits the car and when the people flies out, and of course it's revealed at that time that he is a double agent, he is a traitor within their ranks. But just the portrayal, the one thing I don't know, and I want to talk about this now too, is his Yelena, his love interest, the daughter of Jamil. I don't know, like he was in prison. they obviously, he was on a life sentence, so we don't know what he did to be in prison, but I think from the little snippet we've seen from Dhurandhar 2, we might get some backstory on how he got there, but I digress. So he's undercover for India. He sees this woman, seems to be naturally attracted to her, and of course they get married in the film Dhurandhar, and he seems very in love, but I wonder, like, is it real? Is she not Pakistani? Again, in the comments, let me know if I'm right or wrong. So would there not be some conflict there? Is that a normal thing in the culture, I mean? So in this film, I don't know, you almost don't know if he does it just to get closer to Jamil, or is he doing it because he does love her. Now, he does admit it a few times that he does love her. The way he treats her is very loving. They seem to be a very good relationship and healthy, although they're age 19 and like 30, as they said in the film. I don't know if we're going to learn more about that in the second part. I want to know, is he actually in love with her? Is this someone that he sees bringing back to India when he eventually goes back with his freedom? Will she, accompany him as his bride? So yeah, I have a lot of questions on that, but I'm sure we'll find out more in the second part. Now I want to talk about the villain parts of things. Like I said, Raham Dakal I thought was a good guy in the beginning. When I was watching this, again, I don't know the history or any fiction versus fact that is woven together in this film, because I know there's been some, criticism on how this paints Pakistan and India and their struggles in the culture. It kind of muddies the waters, grays the line a little bit. So I can only speak from a movie perspective, and that is all I'm speaking of. But I thought Raham Dakal was a good guy in the beginning, in the sense of, yes, I knew he was a gang leader or whatever, of the Bolak gang leader, but it seemed like when Hamza got associated with him, he was more of the good guy, and the Jamil character, who's more of a politician, a political figure with the daughter, he seemed more negative to me, and I was kind of rooting for Hamza to get the Bolak gang, a little brought up, but it was obviously that halfway through the film, perspective shifted. Obviously, Jamil was trying to take out Rahim, and they're just calling people up left, right, and center. And of course, then that is when the big gun arrives. You know who I'm talking about. Sanjay Dutt ends up on the screen. Chaudhry Aslam, SP, he shows up with some weaponry, kills some dudes outright in the desert. Apparently he's like a police officer that got basically disbarred from the force for some reason by Jamil at that. But Jamil yet is the one who calls him and says, hey, I need your help. We got a problem. Gangs are rising up. They're trying to take over my political prowess. Can you help me here? I thought that was really cool, because it kind of, you were watching this film that's over 3 hours long, but as it got to the middle, it shook it up a little bit. I like that. I like how it changed perspective. And then Hamza had to pivot, like, I have your daughter. She kind of played along with it too, so I'm not really sure if she really, really hated her dad or she just was sick of the gang violence. I don't really know. Let me know in the comments your perspective. But I felt like because we had Rahim, Jamil, and the other character, which I'm going to take a moment to, Yuzar Balak, I think is the other bad guy. He was the one that was boxing, if I'm not mistaken. Or is it Major Iqbal? I can't remember. Both of them there. I apologize. It's one or the other. But he was the one boxing, and he's the one supplying all the weapons that was going into India. And again, we see that, like, Hamza helped get the weapons into these kids' hands, into these Pakistani hands, that eventually was used in the Mumbai attack. Again, fictionally in the movie, but they did use real-world footage and audio recordings. Another thing that I liked about the film, just the way they wove that, it's like history mixed with historical fiction. Fiction makes for great storytelling. Again, I apologize if any of these real world events are true or muddled. Obviously, it's not a good thing to ever see in the world. No terrorism is good to see. But from a movie standpoint, which as a foreigner is all I'm taking it for, it was cool to see those things introduced in the film, because it felt like it gave me history on the countries. Like it made me feel like I know a little bit more now leaving this film of what may have happened in the past between these countries. So, as a Canadian watching this, I didn't know what I expected. But I am so glad that I got into Dhurandhar, that you guys recommended it. I'm so glad that I seen it. The story, you know, was a great story. I was very enthralled the whole time. It kept my attention, no problem. The only negative part, if I may say, about this film is I was confused sometimes with the time jumps, because you basically got a quick scene and it was like 2002, little scene, 2003, the little scene, 2006, 2009. Felt a little jarring there, so I can't say that it made the movie bad by any means, but it is something that, even though the movie was 3 hours, I feel like they should have fleshed it out a little more for my viewing. The other thing is, I see why the love story was introduced, but I don't know how much of a bigger purpose it serves. Maybe there'll be more in Dhurandhar 2 that explains it a little bit. But I did love the end, not necessarily end credits, but the ending zinger, where it goes back to 2002 and shows Hamza, who his real name I can't even tell you right now because it's not on the computer, but I know it's Jakat maybe or something like that. I apologize. It's revealed that he was basically a life sentence in prison, but India had a plan, which was really sneaky, to basically create a Dhurandhar, this cove operative, to sneak into Pakistan, gain favor with the gang members, move up the ranks, get as close as they possibly can, get as much intel as they could, so that when the Viper, India, was ready to strike back, they waited their turn. They let the terrorism come. They did not retaliate until it was time to, and Hamza had the plan all teed up. That's my review. Listen, if you are watching this video and you haven't seen Dhurandhar, please go out and see it. It is on Netflix. Dhurandhar 2 is about to drop in just about 2 weeks on the 16th of March, if I'm not mistaken. And guess what? Toxic, which stars KGF star Yash, has moved its date to June. So that means Dhurandhar 2, The Revenge, is going uncontested in the cinemas. And it's going to be a glorious day for Bollywood, baby. I can't wait. I hope it succeeds. I hope it blows this one out of the water. I don't know. I don't know how long this new one's going to be, but I cannot wait to see it. I'm definitely going to watch it when it comes out on Netflix. I have to. And by all means, please let me know in the comments below. Are you excited to see Dhurandhar 2, The Revenge? Did you enjoy Dhurandhar 1? And do you think my review was accurate? Well done? Is there anything else you'd like me to do in the future on future international films that you folks recommend? Because I would love to see more movies and more trailers for stuff coming out of their international, India, Bollywood, Kannada, Tamil, all of them. You guys are doing great stuff in cinema. Let me know in the comments what I got to watch, and I'll try to do my best for everyone. And with that, hit that subscribe button. Help us support the channel. We love each and every one of you. And I am the real Jussy of the Distorted Theorists. And like we always say around here, keep it real.